Okay,
I'm
so
getting them.
I think everybody's here. So good morning, and we're going to have a great class today. And we'll start off with our prayer and we'll get going on the class. Okay.
Ah, sorry, my dog.
So, Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day. Please embrace each and every one of us and open our hearts and our minds so that we can hear and learn and get directions on the things that we need to do for ourselves. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn that we are a part of everything and that everything does connect. We thank you for everything that you are showing us and teaching us. Please bless each and every one of us, and please comfort the ones that are in sorrow and stress today. And just lift us up as much as you can in your holy presence of your light. Amen. I hope.
Play the song.
Sure. It's not a song, but I thought y'all would really enjoy this. Well, it is a song. I forgot. I had two that I picked, so this is a song.
Just look at us. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. The major media destroys information. And religions destroy spirituality.
Billy Ill's in the place to be, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Yo, half the world starving, the others trying to lose weight, judging each other on who's great, yo, and who's fake. I choose faith and elevate through all my lucid dreaming, and wake up and celebrate all the human beings. My mom said it's a blessing when they try to stop you. This is that rhyming up your third eye, align your chakras. Spark this to the darkness, what I teach is dangerous. I'm just trying to free my people from the deepest anguish. I've seen evil spirits from the matrix respond to the name of Jesus in the English language. Was it the God in me, or am I blinded? Was it terminology or goodness behind it? We got a long way to go to get back to where we were. This life is a mystery, eyes are very blurred. No matter what religion you follow, I respect it. We all human beings, that means we all connected. They wanna tell you what you can and what you can't do, but everything traditional was once brand new. Jump on social media, change my Wikipedia, find out where they're leading ya and what they feeding ya. Yo, it's evil. How bad they want their money. They let us eat food that's banned in other countries. It's a damn shame how they campaign, buying brand name champagne, but I can't blame. We all got free will to choose like hand games. We all got free will to choose like hand games. Prayers up, tobacco down, healing frequencies, now that's a sound. Human beings, Mexico, kids in cages, now let them go. Prayers up, tobacco down, healing frequencies, now that's a sound. Human beings, Mexico, kids in cages, now let them go, let them go, let them go.
All your show.
Yeah, I had two videos that I was really de- uh, trying to decide which one to play because this is where we're at in the world. Exactly what he was talking about, and we're all in free will. And I thought it was very appropriate, for us to listen to what he was saying today because we're working on the crown chakra, and the crown chakra is where you're connecting to your pure consciousness, conscious state of mind. So when you can really reach your conscious state of mind, you're going to know, just like I told you, Pam, just a few minutes ago, you will know in your gut what is right and what is wrong. You won't have to go out and ask anybody, well, what do you think about that? You know, unless you're doubting yourself, and where does doubt come from? You know, and Creator, pure consciousness wants us to know. We're all knowing. You know, when you get to that state of mind where you're all knowing, you don't have to doubt yourself. You just know. And that's when you really truly know that you're doing and walking a good path. And we're all going to get there through our trials and tribulations. You know, we're human, we're going to make mistakes, but that's okay. If you learn from the mistakes, if you continue the mistakes, then you are creating a cycle pattern, which will come back around in a circle, and you'll repeat it until you learn not to do it anymore and say, oh, this is not good for me. And that's just how it works. And that has to do with the energy. You know, all these lessons that we've been going through, we have talked about energy. And this is our last class. We'll be graduating from the physical body, because once you learn everything that on how this energy runs through your physical body, we've already talked about how it controls your emotional self from the first lessons, you know, with the two wolves. And when you can put all that together, your intuition is going to be really good. But it's up to you. You know, the knowledge and the information has been given to you so that you can research it yourself within yourself, and whatever feels right for you in the information that is being given is what you take from it. And that gives you your strength and gives you your grounding that you need to move forward. Now this chakra, as you can see, it's huge. This is this is the lotus flower. I couldn't draw. Do you know how many petals this flower has on it? It has 1,000 petals. There's no way to put 1,000 petals on a piece of paper. Well, I'm sure you could have. I could have. They would have been very small little petals, and it would have took quite a long time to do it. So I just, you know, did as much as I could. But the way it's linked up, the petals are very important. The way it's linked up in 12 petals on each circle. So the number 12, you know, runs in the universal structure pattern of numbers. It runs in a lot of things, like the 12 zodiac signs. Okay. What else? You know, think about what else. 12 months in a year. That's what Colleen says, 12 months in a year. So if you can think about what the number 12 is, you'll see that it's been in many stories and many things. The number 12 stands out. There was 12 disciples. Okay. There was 12 people in the King Arthur's court. You know, so if you deep dig, you're going to find a lot of interesting things of what the number 12 represents. But it's all about this lotus flower on your crown chakra opening up. And remember, we've learned that these petals on the other chakras, you know, can get blocked with emotions and stuff that you have to clear. These don't get blocked. Okay, these petals don't get blocked because you've already worked on all the other chakras and unblocking them. This is pure consciousness. Okay, it's coming straight from Creator down to you. And your crown chakra is located on the top of your head and is actually the soft spot on a baby's head. A lot of people don't realize that. Well, we all have a little soft spot on top of our head, and the older you get, the shell kind of closes so that you don't have that soft spot anymore. But that is where your crown chakra is located at. What's really interesting is, as I was going back and putting this class together for you, is the psychological development of this chakra actually doesn't happen to around the age of 42. So think about that. Because we haven't been taught nothing about the chakras, at a young age, around 42 is when you actually start tapping into your crown chakra. And sometimes it can go all the way up to 60 and 70 years old before you tap into it, because you weren't, taught anything about it. But when you start tapping into it, that's when you're returning back to your spiritual and natural self, and that's your home. And how many times have you heard people say that you're trying to get home? I've been told that many times by a lot of Native people, and oh, you found your way home, and that's all they would say, but they would never really tell me what it meant. You found your way home. Well, it's because you're becoming conscious enough to know where you belong and what path to go on. That's your home. Now, the challenges that this chakra brings to you is for you to learn how to release the ego and gain the trust and the guidance of the universe. And see, Pam, that's kind of what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. Is really truly trusting in what you are feeling, what is coming through to you. And when you're tapped into your crown chakra, you're just going to know. You're not going to have to ask anybody, because that's the knowing and the wisdom that comes with being tapped in to the Creator's light. And let me tell you, when you think you know everything, do you think you're tapped into the crown chakra and Creator? No, that's ego. You're not going to know everything. The only time you're going to really truly know and be able to put it all together is when you cross over into that dimensional level, after this life. So when you come across people, or you find yourself saying, oh, I know a lot of things, you really don't know nothing. And you better keep it at it. I don't know nothing. I just doing the best I can. Because if you start saying you know it, then you've cut yourself off from this chakra and the guidance from Creator, because your ego is stepping up there going saying, I'm the big shot here, I know everything. Don't do that to yourself, because it will shut down. It will shut down, and you'll have to go back through all the steps to reopen it again, because that's Creator and your guide saying she ain't ready for that yet. She's gonna use this energy wrong, so they're not gonna allow you to get to that spot unless your heart is right and you've done the steps of forgiveness and all of that. And I always tell everybody I'm just like a little piece of sand. You know how many sands on the shore? There's a lot of sand. I'm just one little speck. And that one little speck does not hold everything. You know why it doesn't hold everything? Because everything connects. So you have to connect to all of it to get all the information. It's like putting a puzzle together. And really truly, when people get that and understand that, they're gonna realize, oh, that is how it works. Because everything is connected. Everything. And each one of us holds information that the other person needs. And until we get that information from the other person, we're gonna be missing that one little puzzle piece we're being searching for. Connection is very important. Okay, when your crown chakra is open and it stays open, you'll start learning and understanding, like I said, that you belong to something bigger than any of us. You'll understand that you're that one little grain of sand. Because you are, the ground chakra is pure consciousness. And it represents enlightenment, purity, and spiritual rebirth. And how far do you think pure consciousness goes? Have you ever thought about that? Because if pure consciousness is the light expands everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's never ending. It rises every day. That's what creates your new day every day. It's amazing if you let your mind wander into those questions, you will get the answer from Creator. But always remember when you're trying to reach this chakra too, you have to make sure that your other chakras, the lower chakras, are in tune so that you can raise your vibrational level. Because the lower vibrations is the world of illusion. And so you're rising up to the crown chakra, which is pure consciousness, which is not illusion anymore. So some people call it Maya. You've reached Maya, which is pure consciousness. And Maya can go many, in the planetary system, it goes a long way, because there's many planets in the solar system, and also planets that we're not even aware of. So another thing is called collective consciousness. Okay, so when you reach the collective consciousness, that's when you're able to tune in and meet other people that you can connect to, because they have reached that collective consciousness of knowing too. Just like you said, Pam, when you get this collective consciousness, you don't want to hang around people that are not, vibrating. And it is a vibration in that consciousness, because it's very hard to do, unless you're going, unless spirit has guided you to go there and bring some light into them so that they can have a higher vibrational level. And that will happen too. Everybody gets put in situations like that. That's why if you can just give a smile to somebody, that's you bringing that consciousness into that person's space and lifting them up. It comes in many ways. And it's very interesting when you start realizing how this consciousness plays a part in everything every day. Just when you say hello to somebody, that's part of the consciousness of God. That person might have needed that hello, and we really don't never really understand how much we touch another person unless that person tells you. You know, but the more you become in your conscious state, the more that you will hear stories about yourself, like from 20 years ago, saying, yeah, you did this and this is what happened. And I'm so grateful that you were in my life at that time. And you'll think about it and go, wow, I didn't even realize how that affected that person. Because you were just going on with your life, you know. But you'll have spirit will show you those things, and that's to help you grow and stay grounded in your conscious state so that you can continue to know that you're on a good path. When you reach this consciousness state, okay, this collective consciousness state is where you hear a lot of people talk about the oneness, feeling as one, because it brings in the oneness, it brings in bliss, it brings in happiness, it brings in your inner peace that you feel. It also brings your trust back to you, that you can trust life, that everything's okay, even though the way the world is today, if you watch the news and everything's so bad in the world, this is the trust in your conscious self saying, you know, it's going to be okay. Trust in your life because it's going to be okay. It brings in emotional stability. And the biggest thing that it does for you is it gives you clarity in your mind. And how many of us have wanted that clarity in our mind? How many of us had a lot of brain fog? You know, because there's a lot of people that have brain fog, and you hear them, they say, look, I don't know what's going on with my mind, but I just can't think straight anymore. Well, these are all signs that the crown chakra is trying to give them a message that they need to work on that frequency pattern to connect to the lotus flower of consciousness. Raise your vibration, you know, bring that vibration up. This chakra is associated with the pituitary gland. Now, remember we were talking about the third eye. It also works with this gland, but it is mostly the pineal gland that the third eye works with. But it connects to the pituitary gland, and this is the same as this chakra. This one is associated with the pituitary gland and the pineal gland because it has to connect to the third eye. You know, that energy goes down into the pineal gland, but it works the endorphin system in your body, which relates to your brain. Okay, and as we were talking about the third eye works the whole nervous system. And you'll really be interested if you study this, you will understand that there are 12 different nervous systems that run in your body. If you want to check it out, it's quite interesting. And it's called the nervous plexus. If you wanna study it, but it's very unique. Like I said, the number 12 plays in everything, and you'll find out that other numbers play a lot. So when, like I was saying, the crown chakra is for the brain, but in the endorphin system, but it connects to your nervous system. So when you're having problems with your nerves, realize that it's your third eye and your crown chakra need some little energy work to bring them back into balance. Because when they get off balance, it's going to impact your body functions. It's going to mess up your temperature in your body, which would be your blood pressure and all of that. It's going to mess up your sleep. It's going to mess up your heart rate, your breathing. and all the critical processes that your body does. And this is the sign from the crown chakra and your third eye that you need to do some frequency work on yourself. Quite interesting, like I said. Y'all check it out if you want to learn more about yourself. Back to the blossoms on this crown chakra, there's 1,000 petals, and each one of them represents the blooming of the consciousness within inside you. And it symbolizes prosperity and eternity of all that is in its wholeness. That's pretty profound, really. Because that's a lot, if you think about it. All that is in its wholeness. Because we've got a planetary system, we've got the sun and the moon going around. All that is that we know consciously is in this lotus flower. So
Sarah, could you repeat those three things? Prosperity and what?
Eternity of all that is in its wholeness. And the circle part, I found this quite interesting. The circle part actually represents the full moon. And the openness of the full moon and the awakening of the conscious mind. And we have the cycles of the moon, right? So the full moon represents completion when we're in the full moon, when it's shining down on us. But in the circle here in the crown chakra, it represents the awakening of your conscious mind and connecting you to infinite space that is around the lotus flower petals and is a transcendence and oneness of all things. So it's showing the connectedness of everything in all the petals. And really, whoever come up with the 1,000 petal thing, there's probably more petals than 1,000 on it. They just stopped at 1,000. Because if it's the whole entire consciousness, that's huge. So it's going to represent a huge lotus flower that's open and blooming. The color of it is violet and white. And those colors associate with purity, forgiveness, and renewal, which is something that we're always are renewing through the cycles that we go through. The next thing we're going to talk about is how do you know if your crown chakra is out of balance? Well, there's 3 ways. It affects you in 3 different ways. Okay, it can affect you on your physical plane. It can affect you in your mental plane or your emotional plane. So what I'm going to do, if y'all want to make 3 lines on your paper and name the first one physical, then the next one mental and emotional, I'll go across with what it brings to you on those levels. You understand what I'm talking about? Something like that. Do y'all understand what I mean? Okay. So the physical, good morning. For the physical, the very first thing is chronic fatigue. It's gonna cause you a lot of chronic fatigue. So how many of us have ever felt just exhausted? I think all of us feel that way sometimes. Oh, I like that, yes. Yes. Do you want me to transfer it to that?
No, just.
Okay, we'll start it next time. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's on the physical plane, chronic fatigue. Okay, on the mental part of yourself is telling you that your mind is closed off from the consciousness of God, from the crown chakra. On the emotional self, the fear of the unknown. Now, how many of us have fear of the unknown, of the what is? I think each and every single one of us do. Well, this is a sign from you know, for the crown chakra. They want you not to have the fear of the unknown. They want you to stay, they want you to trust your feelings and not be afraid of it. You know, and the next one, when we go to the next one, I'll explain it a little bit more to you. Okay, and that was on the emotional level. Now we're going to go back to the physical level again. If you had migraines, that's a sign that you need to do some vibrational work on your crown, actually your third eye and your crown chakra, to help your migraines ease up. On the mental plane is the migraines are showing that you're disconnected from your crown chakra and from the world's energy. Okay, everybody get that? On the emotional part of it is when you're going to start feeling the fear of death and you think you're dying. And let me tell you, I'm going to be honest. You know, I'm always honest with everybody that talk. When I had my heart attack, this part has come up in me a lot, the fear of death. You know, so as we started working on the chakras and doing the lessons, I saw within myself a lot of places where I needed to work at that had become unbalanced from my heart attack, you know, from having to, but this fear of death was really hard on me. And so I don't believe I have achieved not feeling like that, but I do realize that when it comes upon me now, that I tell myself, no, you're okay. You know, because guess what? When you die, you don't die. So what are you afraid of? You know, and that's what this is all about, is to learn that it's a transition when you pass over, when you cross over, but you're not dead. You know, as a human being, we called it death, right? That's how we called it in our language. Oh, they died. But you don't die. So when you truly, truly start believing that, the fear of death is not going to be upon you anymore to hit you. And then when it does come on your emotional level, because it's sneaky, it's one of those sneaky snakes that come in and try to keep you trapped in your egoic self. And you go, I know the truth. And you stand in the truth of it, that you're not going to die. You're going to transcend and you're going to keep going, because that's exactly what you do. you're in a death and rebirth cycle, and we all have to experience it. So I thought that was quite interesting for me. So I just thought I'd share that with y'all. Okay, the next one on the physical level is brain fog. Now, brain fog. If you have brain fog, that's a physical sign showing that you need to work, you know, on your third eye and your crown chakra, mostly your crown chakra, because you're not connecting in your mindset, in the mental part of yourself. And I want y'all to really think about this now, because I'm going to go into the mental self. When you have brain fog, and each one of us has had it, I know we have, okay? I want you to really think, did you feel disconnected from the world when you had your brain fog? Like life just was going on without you and you just couldn't get out of the brain fog? Because that's what the mental part of you does. It disconnects you from the world. I know I've experienced that. I know several other people that I've talked to have experienced that. So for myself, I know that's a true statement for myself. But that's something that y'all need to look with inside yourself and see if that, when y'all were having brain fog, if that's how you felt. And of course, the next thing that it brings is boredom and frustration, because you're bored with your life, or you're frustrated because your life isn't going right.
Is that under emotional, Shahoan?
That's under the emotional. And this one's going to cover the next two, which next two physical ones, which is problem sleeping. And then also, you know, we already went through migraines, but when you have chronic migraines that keep coming. And the sleeping problems and the chronic migraines is a disconnection from the divine. That's on the mental plane, a disconnection from the divine. You're not connected to your crown chakra where the energy from spirit can come in. And like I said, it connects back to the emotional part where you have boredom and frustration in your life because you just don't feel like you're going anywhere. Okay, then we're going to go into the physical again, to the neurological part of it. Okay, it's going to affect your nerves. It's going to cause you to have anxiety. And it's going to mess up your endorphin system. And remember when I first started the class, that was one of the biggest associations with your crown chakra is over your endorphin system and your pituitary gland. Okay, but it does affect your nervous system, but your nervous system is actually associated with your third eye. Okay, so when it gets on the physical level of that, in the mental state, there's two things that's going to happen is you're going to become very obsessive over things, and you're going to be attached to spiritual matters more than you are to earthly matters. Oh yeah, Colleen's asking, is that a bad thing? Well, through my own experience, and I tell you, I'm very open with my stuff. Through my own experience, that is a bad thing to be overly, obsessive about spiritual stuff, because I learned when I had my heart attack You know, I had been so spiritual that I actually had forgot I was living in a human body. So would that not pertain to what we're talking about right now? I would say it would pertain to that. So having my heart attack brought me back down into the acknowledgement that, hey, don't forget about your physical self. You know, it has to be connected to, it has to work properly too. And so, like I said, since I've had my heart attack, I've been going through retaking some classes, you know, to rebalance myself. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think each and every one of us do this. You know, but the more you become aware of it and can acknowledge it as to what it is, the less likely you're going to have to repeat it the next time because you're really going to get it. You know, you're going to get it this time. So let's go to the emotional part of the neurological stuff. Focusing on the material world around you, which would be possessions, money, and everything else. You know, that keeps you from going on to a higher spiritual plane. And if y'all will excuse me for just a minute, I will be right back. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so everybody got that and we're ready to go back to the physical part. Now, this is a really big sign that you need to work on your crown chakra, and that's sensitivity to light and sound. So if your ears start hurting and you say, ooh, that's too loud, or your eyes start hurting because there's too much light coming in, it's because you need to raise your vibration level. When this takes place on the mental plane, it's going to cause you to have depression. And on the emotional level, it's going to affect all 5 senses that you have. You'll lose the ability to believe in the divine, which brings you into selfishness within inside yourself. So it's really interesting how all these little aspects, you know, that we all experience because we're living in this human body, right? Nobody's ever really told us where and why we feel the way we do and how, this is why we feel the way we do. So I find this information very helpful for myself, and I hope it does for y'all, because when you really truly learn yourself and what's happening in yourself, and can be able to describe where it's coming from with inside yourself, where do you think that's going to take you? It's going to take you into healing. It's not, it can't take you anywhere else, because you're going to have this great understanding of why this is happening to you. Instead of just, wondering all the time. How many of us has said many years, why did this happen to me? I just don't understand why this happened to me. And from all these classes that you're having, you're going to realize why that happened to you. Because you're going to learn, you're going to go, oh, now I understand that's why that happened to me, because I had no idea that it was connected to all of this. Okay, we're going to go to the foods. What do you think your crown chakra needs to keep itself healthy? This is quite interesting. Your crown chakra doesn't need any food, because your crown chakra is the element that works with it is thought. That's where all your thoughts come through. What your crown chakra needs is fasting and detoxing, in order to flush out all the toxins that you put in your body, without knowing that they were bad for you. And it will help boost your energy, and it'll clean out your mind. But the very most important part, drinking water. That's the only thing, water. Now you can have tea, but water, very essential to your crown chakra. And if you go back, to the solar plexus or the kundalini, let's go to the kundalini, the second chakra is the water element, right? It works with the water element. So that would make a lot of sense, to put water in your body so that kundalini can rise that energy up to your crown. So if you're not drinking water, guess what? Your energy is not rising up to connect properly, because it's polluted with Coca-Cola and whatever else you're putting in your body. Quite interesting, right? Colleen's over here laughing at me. Yeah, my Dr. Pepper, you're correct. Look, I tell you, I drink a lot of Coca-Cola. I do. And doing this class has helped me realize, well, people tell me all the time, you need to drink more water. You need to drink more water. Well, now I understand why I need to drink more water. Who doesn't like water? I mean, water doesn't even have a taste to it. But, and it's true. That's why I don't drink it, because to me, it's just that. Well, now I understand it's very important to drink water. I mean, if you're going to connect, if you really want to connect, you better keep that vessel, oil, that's your oil going into your body so that it can rise up. So quite interesting stuff you can learn, and I learned this back when I was in my 30s, when I had my colon cancer and everything. And I was learning how to purify my body and everything. But you forget. It comes along with the brain fog and all these other emotions that play in your body. And so you forget this thing. So redoing these classes has helped me greatly. And look, Susan's drinking her water. But so y'all are helping me just as much as I'm helping you, by being able to do these classes with you. It's just reiterating the things that I had forgot about, that I really need to do for my own self to stay healthy. So I thank y'all for that. but water. And what did they say in the native? Water is life. And water is life. Water is the key element to everything. The tree of life. Well, what are we talking about? You know, get out of the water, you know, stand up like the tree, get your roots in the tree. Well, that's how it comes. If you drink it and put it in your body, you're going to start standing up like the tree because you have to stand tall to get to the light. So just interesting stuff. So like I said, the crown chakra is located on the top of your head. That's the soft spot. The element is thought. And of course, we learned that in the first classes that we did on the emotional self. You want to align your thoughts with more positive thoughts than you do negative thoughts, because you've learned where that can take you. And because we live in a circle of energy, that circle is going to come back. So depending on what you put out, that's what you're going to get until you learn, and then you're going to change, and it's going to make a figure 8. And the figure 8 is infinity, right? So the color again is violet and white. The symbol for this is the lotus flower. The mantra, okay, is all H-A-H or Om. You can do the Om. The biggest affirmation you can say is, I know. I know. And again, like I was saying, the glands that it works with is the pituitary. That is the very first gland that it works with, and the secondary gland is the pineal gland. The organs are the brains and the nervous system and the endorphin system. Very important. The only way that you can connect with these systems is through prayer, fasting, and meditation, and drinking water. Okay, very important. You'll know when this chakra is balanced because you will feel that you have inner wisdom and cosmetic energy coming through. You'll just know because you'll have a boost of energy. Water. Okay, this chakra can be too open too. Okay, and to realize if this chakra is too open, is when you and this is what happened to me before I had my heart attack, is you neglect your physical self. Okay, you neglect it, and your everyday conversations with people become not interesting because all you want to talk about is spiritual stuff. So if you realize that you're doing that, then you need to rebalance your chakra and close it down some. And the way you close it down is to focus on it, because you know when you're neglecting your physical part of yourself, that means you need to go back to those chakras, the first 4 chakras, and do some realignment on them. Go outside and plant your feet on the ground, ground yourself real good. You know, sit by a tree and do some inner work for yourself. Okay, you'll also know that if it's overactive to help you get it back is to focus in the now, stay in the now, and start getting regular sleep cycles. So that means, you know, put yourself in a habit of going to bed at a certain time and getting up at a certain time, because this is going to help realign it from being overactive. You can do a healing visualization on that chakra, on the crown chakra, when it's overactive too. You can find them on YouTube, or you can make one yourself. Make sure you drink lots of water, because you know, if you're not drinking water, that can also cause you to have an overactive, stimulated crown chakra. Because you can overact it with caffeine and coffee. Okay, here's some chakra affirmations that are really good for this chakra. I am connected with my higher power. I am at one with the divine. Okay, the power of the universe flows through me. The power of the universe flows through me. Okay, I seek unity with all things and all beings. And the last one is, I am alive and in creation with the Creator.
Was that a light or alive?
Alive. It could be light, because we are the light. So you could add that. Mhm. And then we have some yoga poses. Now, that's when I saw this yoga, the very first yoga pose is a handstand. I don't think I could do a handstand, stand on my head, but you never know, you know. But they say that's good for the crown chakra. And then the rabbit pose, the lotus pose, and the corpse pose. And the corpse pose is where you just lay out on the mat and you focus, you know, you're just laying there. That would be the easiest one for us at our age. The lotus pose. Yeah, I don't know about the standing on the head part though. Now, when I was in my 30s, I probably could stand on my head, but I don't think I could do it now. But those are the poses. And then you have breathing exercises that you can do too. And I learned this a long time from some medicine men that helped me, but breathing different, breathing in one nostril and then the other one and closing it off will help you balance your chakra, your crown chakra. If y'all want to try that. Did you see how I was doing it, Colleen? you switch from both nostrils. And they have that on YouTube too, where you can actually do a breathing exercise with somebody showing you how to close your nostrils off and everything if you need that. Tapping. We're gonna do some tapping, that'll help you too. There's a couple of stones that you can get to help. Moonstone, cellulite, amethyst, clear quartz, tanzanite, leprolite, you know, the one for your throat chakra, and ametrine. And that's the crown chakra, y'all. What did y'all think about that? Pretty interesting, right? So we can go into questions. If anybody has any questions, and let me know what y'all thought about the lesson. To me, it was an awesome lesson for myself, especially to learn that I needed to drink more water. Ha 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 ha. You'd be surprised how many people have told me, drink more water, drink more water. But you know, I'm hard-headed, so. But now I understand it's very important to drink water. So does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about, what they think about this class on the chakras? Because this is our graduation class, you know, we've got to the seventh chakra. So there's a lot of things that we've learned from the first chakra up that we can talk about.
So it's important to.
Can y'all hear Colleen?
So, let me see. So when you're trying to open the chakras, it's important to start at the root and go up every time you want to open up all of it. To get to the top, you gotta start at the bottom. And like I just wanted to work on the third eye and crown, I still have to start at the bottom. And then work on
Well, not necessarily.
it. No? Okay.
Did y'all hear what she was saying? You did? Okay, I'll repeat it. She wanted to know if you had to go and start all the way at the root chakra and work all the way up if all you wanted to do was work on your third eye and your crown chakra. And no, you do not have to. If you've been working on those chakras, you know, and you're not a newbie to your chakras, okay, you don't have to start right at you just have to recognize that those chakras need to be turned on, and they'll turn on when you start working on yourself. So that was a very good question.
So, what could cause blockages?
Everything can cause blockages. Especially from the bottom, like the bottom four, you know, your root and your kundalini and your solar plexus and your heart chakra, you're collecting a lot of baggage and a lot of blockages from relationships that you had. And, you know, most of our blockages are created in between the age of 1 and 20, really. Okay, and if you can remember when we started back, the root chakra develops from the age of 1 to 7. And then your kundalini is from 7 to 14. The solar plexus is 14 to 17 and on up. So if you have trauma in your life, any type of trauma, that's going to cause you blockages. Any type of hatred, judgment, because part of the reason why we're here on this earth is to learn how to have a relationship. Now think about that. It is about learning how to have a relationship. You have to have a relationship with your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your classmates, your teacher, your workplace, and you have to learn how to get along with everybody. And the main thing you have to do is have a relationship with yourself. And nobody ever really taught us that. If you don't know yourself, how do you expect to have a good, loving relationship with somebody else if you don't even know how to love yourself? So,
More specifically, the crown chakra, what could cause blockages?
okay, that, like I was saying, that chakra doesn't never get blocked. Remember when we got to the throat chakra, I was telling you the third eye and the crown chakra are always open. Okay, they're never shut down, but the only time the crown chakra will shut down is if you're in your egoic state, because you can do damage. You can do damage to your spiritual self, and they're not going to allow you to damage that part of yourself. So really, if you're not ready for your crown chakra to open, it's not going to open. But it's going to shut down to protect itself too. If you start like letting greed come in, and you become egotistical, and you start having more possessions and more earthly gain, it's going to shut down and cut off from you to protect itself. Does that help? Yeah, because everything's a balance. You got to bring it all into balance and understand it, and understand where you're at, because nobody can tell you how to do it for yourself. You do. You're the boss over that. And mine was, I had forgot how to bring joy into my life. I had really just overlooked my physical self until I had my heart attack. And then I went, oh, I'm still in a physical body. I got to do some work. But there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is if you don't recognize it, and start fixing it. Because that's the main reason why we're here, is not to point fingers at anybody else and say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's for you to look at yourself and say, what can I change with inside myself so I don't feel like that towards that person? Because that person that is in your life causing you havoc or causing you to be mad, you need to stop and ask, why is this happening? What is it that I'm supposed to be learning from this? And you will always see that it's something that you can change with inside yourself. And this is part of the teachings in the native world. If you heal yourself, you're healing 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. And guess what? You will heal that. Now, I've told y'all, my youngest daughter, I have lots of issues with her and the grandbaby. But instead of me addressing it straight towards her, which always causes disruption, because she's not ready to hear it, I have switched to just focusing on me and looking at what can I do to change the way I react to it, and understand that she is on her path and learning. And because I'm changing the way I look at it, guess what is happening with her? She's changing too. It just happens that way. You heal yourself, you heal those 7 generations forward, 7 generations back. So just remember that when you come across issues, because like I said, we're all here learning how to have a relationship. That's one of the key things we're here for, is to learn about how to have a relationship. And like I said a few minutes ago, how can you have a relationship if you can't have one with yourself first. And, you know, in the Bible, it says, know thyself, you know thyself. And then it says, physician, heal thyself. Well, there's a lot of things in many different religions that say the same thing, but I think it all points to having a relationship with yourself. Because the more that you can understand yourself, the better you're going to be able to understand where somebody else is coming from if they're angry. And then you don't have to go down that same road. You don't have to pick up that emotion because you've already learned to go, and you can go home and pray and fast and do prayers for that person and heal them that way. There's been some great medicine people on the planetary that know these answers, and that's why so many people can get healed by going to a medicine person. It's quite interesting. Anybody else have anything to say?
Thought it was beautiful how you mentioned the collective consciousness. When 1986, when I had my motorcycle accident and died and stood with Creator, I was shown the collective consciousness. It was just like it happened yesterday too. It was very beautiful to experience that.
Can you kind of explain what you saw as the collective consciousness?
We were standing on the edge of this great precipice, and in front of us was this tube that stretched off as far as you could see in either direction. It was massive in diameter and it was translucent. And inside there was these little sparks, and they were zooming around, and those were our souls. And it's like when you go to bed with an impossible question and you wake up with the answer, it's because we entered the collective, and it's the Alpha and the Omega, all of the answers, all of creation, all species from all universes exist in this collective that we are part of, that we're one of the souls, and we're these little shards of light zipping around. It was quite amazing.
Kind of like fireflies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our little tails going bleep, bleep, and we're looking for our connection. I love fireflies and the way they connect, you know, to their soulmate or whatever, you know, because they blink the same frequency. So yes, that's a good, thank you, Robbie. That's a great way to describe the consciousness, because that's exactly what it is. And we're all a part of it. And see, if I was to tell you that we live in Creator's body and we're part of his body, that would be a good way to explain it, because we're inside him moving around in the creation that he created. And we're inside him, he's inside us, you know, because we're all connected. Sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around it because it's so massive, you know. But when you're in a pure conscious state, okay, if you could ever reach the pure conscious state of knowing, and that's where the master teachers were, like Buddha and everybody else that came that had this knowledge, they were connected in, you know, really strongly in that state of consciousness. And that's where we're all seeking to get. And I believe we'll all reach that. I really do. Now, how long it's going to take, that I can't answer you, but each one of us will reach it, because I think that's a part of our lessons that we're learning. You know, and we're all in relationships right now. How many of us are doing good in our relationships? Colleen and Leo are laughing over here. Y'all have any issues in your relationship?
He raised his eyebrows.
Colleen said he raised his eyebrows, so that caused caution in her.
It's normal. I would say.
No, it's a work in art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, they say.
Yes, no such thing as perfection.
There is. Did you hear what he said? There's no such thing as perfection. It's always a work in process, and that is correct, because energy never stops, does it? Energy is always moving. And when you learn that, that's really freedom when you learn that. Because that does free you from having fear of death and all of that. You know, because you can't die, your energy. How can you die? You can't. You're going to continue to go on. Now your colors are going to go disappear, but you're going to change into something else. You might turn into a beautiful butterfly and come touch your friends on the nose, you know, after you cross over. Who knows? But you're not going to die. So, you know, once you can release that egoic thought, because that's from the ego, that's to trap you and to stop you from reaching that consciousness state, you know. So the purpose is to clear all of that out of your head so that you can be in a conscious state of being. And I think we're all doing that. Each one of us from the very beginning that we started these classes have come a long ways, don't you agree? I think every single one of us have. Does anybody else have anything to say about the class or the classes on the chakras? Everybody's being quiet today. Is it a quiet
It's been
day?
phenomenal. The classes have been phenomenal.
Thank you. I know we've talked a lot about things after the classes, and we're gonna have some really good classes after this, because see, well, we went through the emotional state, and now we went through the physical, so now we can get into the universal structure of how energy works. So we can have some many good classes. We might get into some numerology, we might get into some zodiac. Who knows where it's going to lead us?
Okay.
Oh, what are you holding up? Oh, yeah.
Totally. Eckhart Tolle.
Now look, and I think this might be great, you know, because how would y'all like to each one of us get that book and do a class on Eckhart Tolle and read from it and discuss it? How would y'all like to do that?
Yeah.
Got two over here?
Yeah, I guess so.
I agree.
Elizabeth, you want to do that too?
We could do that.
How many of y'all have already read the book? I know Sherry, I know you and
I have.
you have too. How
Yeah.
how long ago was that you read that book?
Probably about 4 or 5 months. I read the 4 agreements. And then there was another one I read. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I read the 4 agreements, and then there was another one about something else. I can't remember.
Yeah, the
Well,
four
that's good.
agreements, they're excellent.
Yeah, the 4 agreements are very good. There's a lot of books out there that are good.
Wayne Dyer's another one I love.
Wayne Dyer.
Yeah,
Yeah, Wayne Dyer's good.
I love him.
Good.
So yeah, so we could do a class on that. What I'll do is I'll send an email to everybody, and we'll pick a time. If y'all want to do that and read the New Earth, we can do that. Do you think we can do a chapter at a chapter at a time? Some of the chapters are pretty long, aren't they? So I don't know.
What's the name of this book again?
The New
The New
Earth
Earth.
by Eckhart Tolle. Are you looking? Rodney, are you looking to see how long the
Yeah,
chapter?
there's a lot of chapters.
Yeah, I knew there was, so I don't know.
Like there's 30, there's like close to 50 chapters in this book.
Lord.
That would be like a separate thing from what we're doing here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, we might want to do a separate Zoom for that. Who knows? But we'll send an email out to everybody and we'll all get on the same page and decide if that's what we want to do or not. You know, and go from there. Because I do have other people that want to come on the class and talk about things, and so we're gonna have some interesting classes. And I hope that each and every one of y'all, you know, from getting these classes on your emotional self and your physical self, that will help y'all align and understand yourself a lot better, you know, so that you can be a little bit more happier, not so sad. Hi, Miss Sherry. I see you got your hand up. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And there's Winnie.
She's so pretty.
I wanted to say thank you because these classes have been a good reminder because, you know, we think we have our stuff together and then life happens, you know, people have their things happen and, you know, it can shake us sometimes or throw us off of it. And sometimes we need help getting back on and we don't always realize what it is. So yeah, I've learned, even though I knew a lot about the chakras, I learned so much more with your classes.
Yeah, and I hope y'all continue to learn. I hope y'all look, you know, research it for yourself so that, you know, because I left out a lot of information. But thank you. I
Thank you.
I thank each and every one of y'all for being here every Tuesday. It takes a big commitment to do this, and you know, there'll be times when I won't be able to do it. Like I had pneumonia, so I had to miss, but I'm feeling a lot better now. And there'll be times like that we'll have to cancel class, but I really appreciate each and every single one of y'all. And since we're done with all the questions, we'll close out with prayer and we'll get started next week. And I'm not going to tell you what next week's about. It'll just be a surprise, but happy graduation day to each and every one of you for getting through all the chakras. And I hope y'all have a very beautiful day today because it's Valentine's Day. Go love with your loved ones and send out love to everybody in the universe. And Rodney, take us out with the prayer, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Shahawin. Father Sky, Mother Earth, all our ancestors, all our relatives, we call upon you at this time and we thank you. We thank you for this most sacred circle that you've allowed us to be part of. We thank you for the teachings that you've conveyed through our sister Shahawin. We thank you for the lessons we've learned, for the impact it's made on our life, for the changes it's made in our life. And we ask, Most High, Most Divine, that you help remind us each and every day of those little things that we can do to just be closer to our better, higher version of self, our Christ consciousness. We thank you for Shahawin and her commitment and her devotion to teaching us, and we are grateful. We ask, Most High, Most Divine, that you watch over each and every one of us throughout this week, that you protect us and you help us to walk in the light and help us to walk in a way that is pleasing in your sight. We love you and we thank you. Aho.
Everybody, see you next week.